Let's see it. Oh.
This guy just paid me $50. Not gonna check out the value of wrestling.
Cool.
This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
Oh, you didn't know? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Big Tyme. This is the value of wrestling, and this is another episode, episode 104 of Big Tyme Rants. We got some news to talk about, some crazy stuff going down, and of course, the value of wrestling is going to be live tomorrow, Elk Grove, California. Ladies and gentlemen, Supreme Pro Wrestling as event in Elk Grove, Lemonade, a Supreme Pro Wrestling, and the Value Wrestling teaming up for this special occasion. Yes, Sunday, August 18th, Supreme Pro Wrestling's annual charity show to benefit Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation for Childhood Cancer will be taking place in Elk Grove, California. We're going to see some of our buddies that we saw at Stockton Con. They're going to be at the show. We're going to be at the show. It's going to be a party, la-de-da-de. Everybody come out in style. It's SPW Lemonade, Sunday, August 18th, 2024, taking place in Elk Grove, California. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a banger of a time. Elk Grove, California. It's going to be at the Soccer World Indoor Arena on 9756 16th Street in Elk Grove, California. Doors open at 4:30 p.m. Bell time is 5 p.m. $20 general admission, $15 for children 12 and under, I believe. And tickets are all available at eventbrite.com or at the door. Remember, card is always subject to change. Go to SPW's Facebook page to get more information or check out Supreme Pro Wrestling Elk Grove so you can get the hookup, la-da-da-da. But we're here to talk professional wrestling, and there's a lot going on in the world of professional wrestling. Let's talk about Bobby Lashley. Yes, Bobby Lashley has left WWE, and this report coming from Ringside News says this. WWE is currently dealing with several notable contract situations. Bobby Lashley's contract was near its ending, leading to his removal from the company's superstar place and placement in the alumni section. It is now official that the Almighty is no longer with WWE. Bobby Lashley's latest run with WWE has come to an end, which comes as a surprise, especially given his involvement with the Street Profits and Prefab in the Pride faction. Now the Profits will continue without him. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select says that Bobby Lashley's WWE contract officially expired and he has departed the company. Lashley's profile was moved from WWE's official website earlier this week. It was previously reported that his contract was set to expire in August. Sources within WWE have reportedly indicated that the door remains open for a possible future appearance. Lashley has garnered interest from top companies, both domestically and internationally, as well within the combat sports world. He has also expressed his intention to continue wrestling, according to those close to him. So we're going to have to see what is going on there with Bobby Lashley. Could he make a return to WWE? Could we see him back in TNA? Could we see him in Bloodsport? Could we see him in some MMA action? Or will we see him on AEW TV? That is a question yet to be answered. Somebody making the return to WWE as of SummerSlam was Arn Anderson, and Arn Anderson tells us about how the WWE SummerSlam cameo came together. Ringside News. WWE held a major event for SummerSlam at Cleveland Brown Stadium, attracting fans from around the globe who tuned in for the packed card. They were in for a surprise when a familiar face last seen in AEW appeared on screen. Arn Anderson, the Enforcer, was featured in a backstage promo hyping Cody for this match, notably without reference to a gun. Now, the story of how it all came together has been revealed. Fans were treated to a special moment at SummerSlam 2024 when Arn Anderson appeared backstage with Cody Rhodes before Cody Rhodes walked out to his match with Solo Sikoa in the Bloodline Rules match for the undisputed WWE champion. And on this Arn podcast, I can get it out, I promise you, Arn Anderson shared how his appearance came together, describing it as a fortunate coincidence since he was already scheduled to be in Cleveland. This made it easier for WWE to pull off the surprise. Coincidence-wise, and I quote, this is Arn Anderson speaking, coincidence-wise, I was going to be in Cleveland anyways, and I was doing a signing for WrestleCon. Cody, bless his heart. I will get a random text from him months after I haven't talked to him, and it'll be at 3 in the morning, and it's almost like it's in code. It was like, we had a conversation, Triple H and myself, wonder what we could do to maybe have you come to one of the shows. According to his sake, Triple H said that maybe some of the young guys and ladies have met Arn, so maybe it would be a nice treat. End of quote there. Arn Anderson left AEW to pursue his own path and support his son, Brock Anderson. Time will only tell if Brock Anderson secures an NXT contract or a similar opportunity. He wouldn't be alone as a second-generation superstar in the brand, joining the likes of Brooke Jensen, Brian Pillman Jr., and now recently signed Jacob Henry on an NIL deal. Arn Anderson's return to WWE, even though brief, was a nostalgic moment for many fans and a testament to the enduring relationship within the wrestling community. Whether or not this leads to more appearances by Arn Anderson and his son, the wrestling world will be watching and will be waiting on bated breath. So it just happened to be that Arn Anderson was in the Cleveland area, and WWE was able to pull off some wrestling magic. TNA Wrestling's new leadership described as uplifting and empowering. Ringside News reports this. Teenage Wrestling's recent Slammiversary event. TNA Wrestling's recent Slammiversary event, we can say that, I swear, stood out for multiple reasons. The event saw several new champions crowned and achieved impressive pay-per-view buy rates. Adding to the positive momentum, a wrestling veteran Gail Kim recently offered high praise for the new TNA management team. During an appearance on Gabby AF, Kim shared her thoughts on the leadership changes within TNA, which include the departure of former president Scott D'Amore, who's now focused on reviving Maple Leaf Wrestling with shows planned in Windsor this October. Kim expressed deep appreciation for the new leadership at TNA, noting how they have empowered her in her unprecedented ways. And I quote, "I'm not going to lie, this new management has empowered me so much like I've never been empowered before. I thought that I was making strides in the wrestling world. I've never felt as uplifted as I have this year. Not only as this management talked the talk, they have walked the walk," end quote. She empathized the support she received from the new team, highlighting that they've not only expressed a desire for her growth within the company, but also provided the opportunities to make this happen. Not only do they say they want me to grow within this company, Gail goes on to say, they've given me the ball to run with it, and I felt it, and I'm doing it, and I've just never felt so much growth within the wrestling business so quickly as I have this year. It's been incredible. I feel very respected and valued for the first time in a long time. End of quote. In addition to praising TNA's management, Kim revealed that she has been backstage at recent NXT tapings at the WWE Performance Center. She expressed admiration for NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez, especially after her standout performance at the Great American Bash. And I quote Gail Kim again here. I actually saw Perez last night because I go to NXT because we have talent there, and I have to drive up every week just to be there as a TNA representative. And I saw her last night, and I never really got to talk to her since I saw her match at Great American Bash 2 weeks ago. They were the main event, and they killed it. I just told her that match, chef's kiss, end quote. Kim has also hinted at the intriguing, weird, special side project she has been recently involved in, calling it a life-changing experience. Promised to share more details in about a month. As Gail Kim continues to thrive under TNA's new leadership, her reflections highlight a period of significant personal and professional growth. Fans can anticipate seeing how her journey unfolds, both in the wrestling ring and beyond. We will continue to cover her story here at Ringside News. You can check it out. We'll cover it here on The Value Wrestling. As always, big fan of Gail Kim. Excited to see what she's doing. Always excited to hear about what's going on there. From Gail Kim, let's go to Beth Phoenix. Ringside News reports this. Beth Phoenix believed to be joining AEW after WWE departure. WWE Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix was a trailblazer in women's wrestling, gaining prominence during a time when women's wrestlers often didn't get the recognition they deserved. Now that she's no longer with the WWE, it's also believed she will be joining AEW, where her husband, Adam Copeland, is. Beth Phoenix dominated during the heights of her career and has been mostly inactive in the ring for a while. Her last match was at Elimination Chamber 2023, where she and her husband, Adam Copeland, defeated Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Beth Phoenix recently ended her tenure with WWE after her contract came to an end, and she was not offered a new deal or a Legends contract. With her departure from WWE, there is no speculation about whether she might. Now there is now speculation whether she might join or debut in AEW. When speaking to his Hall of Fame podcast, Booker T talked about Beth Phoenix's departure from WWE. He noted that Phoenix could easily join her husband, Adam Copeland, in AEW, stating that it would only take a phone call from Cope to make it happen. So do you want to see Beth Phoenix in AEW? Do you think she would fit? Do you want to see her with her husband in AEW? Is that the future for Beth Phoenix? We're going to have to wait and see. Other AEW news, let's talk about the safety scissors, as we call them here in the world of Value Wrestling. But no, it is the Switchblade himself. Jay White set for imminent return from injury. Yes, Jay White had multiple options after leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling, but he ultimately chose AEW. However, his momentum came to an abrupt halt when he was sidelined due to an injury, impacting the Bang Bang Gang's progress. White's faction was forced to relinquish the six-man tag titles following the news of his injury. This is unfortunate timing as the group has just secured the titles and is riding a wave of enthusiasm. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, another former world champion set for a return to AEW television, which should incite fans who have missed Jay White. It was not noted exactly when he'll be back, but his return is coming soon. The former IWGP Heavyweight Champion Switchblade Jay White has been out of action for several months now due to a foot injury, which led to the Bang Bang Gang vacating the trios titles. However, Fightful Select Sean Ross Sapp reported that White is now healthy, and there are plans for his imminent return to AEW television, which is a good thing. We want to see Jay White back on TV. It'll be exciting to see what he does. Of course, AEW doesn't seem to know what to do with him. They keep dropping the ball with man that should be one of the greatest talents and a champion in AEW, but yet has to receive that benefit. I hope Jay White finds his way through this hectic time in AEW, and if it doesn't work out, hopefully he'll realize that maybe WWE is the place for the Switchblade, because there's some top-tier talent in WWE that you could match up with the Switchblade quick, fast, in a hurry. That would give you some great classic matches. Just because Dave Meltzer won't give him 5 stars, I'll tell you what, there are some names that with Jay White in that ring would bring down the house in 5-star classics that would live in infamy. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with Jay White. Will him and AEW figure out that magic potion? Will they figure out that magic recipe that's going to make Jay White look like the superstar he once was in New Japan Pro Wrestling? Or is Tony Khan just a failure at booking and going to show us again why the Bang Bang King is entertaining? It's fun. They give us great matches, but it's really not the best spot for one Switchblade Jay White. We will keep your eyes and we'll keep you posted on all that going forward. CM Punk. CM Punk. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, lots of news about CM Punk today. CM Punk open to a rematch with The Rock at WrestleMania. CM Punk being featured in a lot of talks about WrestleMania possible opponents, especially in Las Vegas. CM Punk has been on a hot streak over the past several months and is undeniably one of the biggest draws in the company and in wrestling, period. With a significant history with The Rock, the Punk has now confirmed that he's open to facing The Rock again. The Rock made his return to WWE television at the start of this year and eventually became embroiled in a feud with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, leading to one of the greatest, hottest angles in recent memory, culminating at WrestleMania 40. CM Punk didn't get involved with The Rock at the time, but fans definitely wanted him to. After all, The Rock defeated Second City Saint for the WWE Championship several years ago, and people would like to see that rematch one more time. While speaking during the Fanatics Fest, CM Punk was asked if he had any interest in having a rematch with The Rock. Punk made it perfectly clear that he's more than ready to square off with The Rock again. He's ready to go toe-to-toe with the great one. He wants to see if he can box with Ali, adding that he's even open to facing Steve Austin in that same statement and The Rock on both nights of WrestleMania. So CM Punk's willing to face not just The Rock, but Steve Austin on back-to-back nights of WrestleMania. Punk going out there and ready to go. He said this, and I quote, "Sign me up. They were asking me about Steve Austin over there. WrestleMania is 2 nights. Give me Steve one night. Give me The Rock on night 2. Let's go." CM Punk already stated that he wants to square off against Steve Austin at WrestleMania 41 next year. Even The Rock previously teased the creation of the biggest match ever at WrestleMania 41. Therefore, we have to wait and see if Punk will get to face Steve Austin or The Rock or both or who or what down the road. Can we put The Rock and Punk in the ring again, please? The Rock's going to be in WWE. He's going to be around. Let's make that happen. We need that rematch. We need to see Punk get that one over a Rock. That would be amazing. That would be hot money. That would be big money. That could happen anywhere. Could be some of the best entertainment. Punk, Rock, let's run it back. Of course, talking about Steve Austin, WrestleMania 41 is already generating buzz as WWE confirmed the event will take place in Las Vegas, Nevada at Allegiant Stadium on April 19th and 20th. Adding to the excitement, Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin is hinting at the possibility of making an appearance at the event. Wants to be in a match. Fueling speculation about one last dream match for Austin against the one Second City Saint, CM Punk. Austin's shocking return to the in-ring action at WrestleMania 38, where he faced Kevin Owens, reunited fans' interest in seeing the Texas Rattlesnake compete again. And since that match, Austin has stayed away from the ring, but has hinted that WrestleMania 41 could mark another return. The possibility of a match with CM Punk is especially enticing for fans, as it has been a dream match for over decades and decades in the wrestling business. During the appearance at Fanatics Fest, of course, we talked about this. Punk addressed a potential showdown with Austin. Punk made it clear that while he is ready for the challenge, the decision ultimately lies with Austin. And Punk went on to say this, and I quote, "That would be up to Steve. It's not up to me." Because I think he had a pretty good return, main event in WrestleMania. At this point, these 6 shooters might be buried in the desert, but if he wants to dig them up, I'm your Huckleberry. It should have happened 10 plus years ago. If he wants to go to sleep, he can call me. Punk sending out the challenge for Steve Austin. Are we finally going to get Punk Austin in a legendary wrestling dream match at WrestleMania 41? It's a big deal. We're going to keep you posted right here on the Value Wrestling. So stay with us. Stay tuned. Hit that thumbs up button because you never know what news is going to break and where we're going to bring it from. Again, more Punk news because he was at Fanatics Fest. Lots of talks, lots of stuff going on. CM Punk responds strongly to being called a cancer after controversial AEW exit. CM Punk's arrival in AEW was met with tremendous enthusiasm, signaling a promising new phase in his storied career. However, CM Punk's run ended in the worst way possible, and now he has hit back at the claims that he is a cancer. In 2021, CM Punk debuted in AEW was a groundbreaking event, establishing him as a major figure within the promotion and the world of professional wrestling again. He reached the pinnacle of his AEW career by winning the AEW World Championship at Double or Nothing 2022. However, his reign was marred by injuries, and including a torn tricep sustained during the controversial brawl-out incident at AEW All Out 2022. Despite these setbacks, Punk made a notable return in June of 2023 as a key figure on AEW Collision. However, this time with AEW ended abruptly following the confrontation with Jack Perry, which led to the termination of his contract. After leaving AEW, CM Punk made an unexpected return to WWE at that same year's Survivor Series and changed the face of professional wrestling yet again. In fact, Chris Jericho allegedly called CM Punk cancer to the AEW locker room, and while speaking during the Fanatics Fest, CM Punk was asked about those people who claimed his WWE run would end the same way as his AEW run. Punk dismissed these claims about him being a cancer, stating that such accusations are false. He explained that he treats people based on how they treat him. If someone is unpleasant, he will respond in kind, but if they are friendly, he will be warm and welcoming. Punk acknowledged that some people spread negative stories about him because they can't control him and dislike his independence. He emphasized that people should make their own judgments and conclusions about him. He went on to say, and I quote, "Oh, but that B word, none of that stuff is reality. He's a cancer talk. Oh, and listen, not everybody gets nice to me, but I treat you accordingly. If you're a piece of and you act that way to me, I would treat you the same way. If you're nice to me, you're smiling, and you want to have a good time, let's have a good time. I'm all hugs. But no, it's not like I'm two different people. The ones who spread lies, the ones who say those things about me, it's because they can't control me. They can't control the things I do and say, and they absolutely hate that. So they try to control the way other people feel or see me. But you're going to have to make your own judgments and draw your own conclusions." With that said, CM Punk wasn't a fan of AEW airing the All-In backstage footage and also revealed why he still supports AEW despite his controversial departure. Despite this, both parties have now moved on from the situation, and that's all that truly matters. How do you view Punk? Do you see Punk as a cancer, or do you see Punk as thriving? I think Punk is in a great place and a great role in the world of professional wrestling these days. He seems to be happy, rejuvenated, and exciting for everything he's doing in WWE. I can't wait to see what Punk's going to do next and how awesome it's going to be. Shawn Michaels reveals who he thinks are the best wrestlers in the world today. According to Ringside News, Shawn Michaels, widely regarded as one of the greatest in-ring performers, if not the greatest in-ring performers of his generation of all times even, is now focused on shaping the future of WWE as the head of the company's developmental brand, NXT. With his wealth of experience and eye for talent, many are curious about who Michaels considers the best in-ring performers in today's wrestling landscape. During a recent interview with Good Karma Wrestling, HBK, yes, HBK himself was asked to name the wrestlers he believes are the top in-ring performers in the world today. Michaels, known as Mr. WrestleMania himself, signaled out two standout talents in the phenomenal AJ Styles and Seth freaking Rollins. Shawn Michaels went on to say this, and I quote, "I think Seth is a fantastic performer. That's me off the top of my head picking one. He's a guy that's an unbelievable talent. AJ Styles is still a guy that I think is fantastic as well. The more I sit here and I think about it, there are probably other guys that would come up, but I will say right now for me, for my kind of style and what I enjoy out of matches, AJ Styles and Seth Rollins are rocking pretty good." Both AJ Styles and Seth Rollins have been major players in the WWE, known for their exceptional in-ring abilities and versatility. Styles, who has been off WWE television since his I Quit match loss to Cody Rhodes at WWE Clash at the Castle earlier this year, remains one of the most respected performers in the industry. Meanwhile, Rollins has also been off-screen after being taken out by Bronson Reed a few weeks ago on Raw, but his reputation as top-tier talent is undeniable. As Michaels continues to mentor the next generation of WWE talent, his admiration for performers like Rollins and Styles reflects high standards he maintains for in-ring excellence. Fans can only hope to see more from these incredible athletes when they return to WWE TV. What do you think of Shawn Michaels' picks? Is AJ Styles, is Seth Rollins some of the biggest names in professional wrestling? Are they the greatest? Do they believe to be on their own Mount Rushmore? Are they future Hall of Famers? Well, you better believe that's a bottom dollar fact. We're going to see both these men get into WWE Hall of Fame someday. Maybe one sooner than the other. We hope that Seth Rollins continues to illustrious career, as we know AJ Styles is getting ready to turn down his career and wrap it up and call it an end to the phenomenal time that has been AJ Styles. Finally, the breaking news, the news that we talked about. If you looked at the opening banner, we're going to talk about the Young Bucks and how they're killing the business. Not only is it the book, but maybe they're the key to the death of what could be the long-ending cancer of AEW. You want to talk about CM Punk being cancer? Are the Young Bucks being perceived as the cancer of AEW? Concerns arise that the Young Bucks' presence may have harmed AEW. Coming from Ringside News, the Young Bucks are currently the AEW Tag Team Champions and remain as controversial as ever. In fact, some believe that their presence has hurt AEW, and they all were, I lost my whole sentence. Anyways, rewind. We're going to do it one more time. In fact, some believe that their presence has hurt AEW, and they were also criticized for being a drag on AEW's ratings, which seems to be true, because many of the times when this new elite group with the Young Bucks, Kazuchika Okada, and Jack Perry, it seems like the ratings drop off. People change that TV. That's just numbers. If you're paying attention to the numbers, it seems anytime they come on the TV, people are willing to turn away. But anyway, recently it was reported that the Young Bucks were rarely appearing on television and haven't defended their titles due to limited dates, even though they were on this recent episode of Dynamite defending the tag team titles against the Acclaim in a match that was won by the Young Bucks due to the outside interference by FTR, setting up a collision match for FTR versus Acclaim, so they can face whoever wins that will face the AEW Tag Team Champions at All In. So the Young Bucks are going to wrestle at All In, even though there's this big news that they have limited dates left on their contract for at least this year. Confusing stuff. It was further added that they actually work under part-time schedule in AEW. While speaking on his YouTube channel, Jim Cornette, good old James E., as always, controversy is here. If it's Jim Cornette, some of you are going to love it, some of you are not, but we're going to talk about it because we love James Cornette and everything he does here. He's a great listen. If you don't necessarily always have to like what he says, and I think that's the big thing in this day and age, you don't necessarily have to like what somebody says all the time, but if you find the good stuff in it and take that good stuff and respect their opinion based on how they feel, you don't have to agree with it. You don't necessarily even have to like the way they put it out there. But James Cornette has a mind for the business. He's been around the business for a long time. And I think in this day and age, we really need to start looking at things that way, where, you know what, we don't have to agree with the person, but at least hearing them out and hearing their opinion. At the end of the day, we don't have to agree with their opinion. We don't have to like exactly what they said or how they said it. But at the end of the day, they have the right to their opinion. That's what makes America great, because the freedom of speech is awesome. And this is all about Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette addressed the Young Bucks having limited dates as part of their contract. Jim Cornette criticized, and he's always criticizing the Bucks. That's no doubt. He's not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of the Bucks either, stating that their presence on the show has diminished the value and actually hurts the overall product. He believes the wrestling public isn't accepting of them because their matches are repetitive and their characters lack authenticity, which is very true in my opinion. I feel they do the same things each and every week. It becomes a spot monkey show as they go out there and flippity floppity fly flew through every match, letting every finish maneuver get off 20, 15 times. It's the same thing. They don't do anything different. If we get Young Bucks FTR 5 at All In, I don't know if it's going to be worth the pay-per-view. Hopefully it'll be a triple threat match, but we'll see how that all plays out after Collision. And I go on to quote, this is what Jim Cornette said, and I quote, "The Young Bucks have never meant less. Their presence on the show is one of the things that hurts it. The wrestling public at large is not accepting of them because their matches are repetitive and their characters don't feel genuine." Cornette, and I end quote there, Cornette pointed out that the Young Bucks are making a significant amount of money while working limited dates, often doing backstage pre-tapes where they direct others. Cornette questioned whether these activities even count as work days. He emphasized that despite being executive vice presidents in AEW, they seem to be taking advantage of their position without fully committing to the responsibilities that come with it. Cornette also mentioned that Tony Khan was afraid they might leave for WWE, but he thinks Khan should have let them go. According to him, their departure would have improved the show's ratings by removing subpar segments. Cornette concluded by saying that while the Young Bucks are being paid millions of dollars, there's little demand for them to work, and the only person paying them is truly aware of their impact. And Cornette went on to say, they're not only making a lot of money, and I quote, working a job where they often do pre-tapes in the back while wearing headsets and telling people what to do. I wonder if that counts as a work day and if they're getting paid for it. They had to go there so the point is they got a screw deal with all that money and limited dates. They started the whole thing. I mean, they wanted to change the world as part of the elite in all elite wrestling. They wanted to change the world and are executive vice presidents. Guess what? If you're an executive vice president or any kind of wrestling booker or promoter in a real company, you don't get days off. Forget that. When everybody else is off, you're on. As old Ole Anderson would say, wrestlers show up and wrestle if booked, and if not, they're off. I think some people might think differently, but with these two, you have everything handed to them. Tony Khan was scared they'd go to WWE. You should have let him go because it would have been it would have removed the drag on his ratings and all those crummy TV segments. They would have been exposed for what they are, a couple of cosplaying kids who didn't realize how out of their depth they were until they got there. Now they're getting paid and don't have to work, but that just means that nobody is calling them nobody's calling for them to work less. Only the guy paying them millions of dollars is aware of them. How do you feel about the Young Bucks? How do you feel about the future of the Young Bucks? Are you excited about them defending the tag team titles at All In against either the Acclaimed or FTR or possibly both teams? Do you feel that the Young Bucks are the drag? Do you feel that they're taking their book too seriously? Are they truly killing the business from the inside out? Should the Young Bucks go to WWE? Would this be a refresher? Would this be a reset? I think Kenny Omega would strive in WWE far beyond what he's going to be able to do in AEW at this point. I think the Young Bucks should be a refresher course. It'd be something different. WWE will at least give them a direction to stay and focused in. But will they ever be willing to do that? That's all wait and see. You'll have to tune in right here on the Valley Wrestling to keep up with all that news, rumors, and speculation. On the Big Time, this has been Big Tyme Rants, episode 104. How awesome is that? Me, Mr. C, are going to be at Supreme Pro Wrestling's Lemonade event in Elk Grove tomorrow, Sunday, August 18th. We're going to be there live, giving out stickers, having a bunch of fun. We're going to be there. You need to come out. Get your tickets now. Get your tickets at the door. It's Elk Grove if you're in Reno, if you're in Sacramento, if you're in Northern California, you're in the Bay Area, if you're in Stockton, Modesto, Turlock, Ceres, Merced, Fresno. You can make that drive up there. Let's do it. Let's all show up, show out. It's for a great cause. Alex Lemonade Stand for childhood cancer. It's a great cause. It's a benefit charity event. Come out. Help support that cause. Come out and support your boys at the Valley Wrestling as we support Supreme Pro Wrestling. Be there. Be there. Be there. Be there. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Big Time, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to tell you goodbye. We will see you on the next one. So stay tuned. Make sure you ring that bell for notifications. Put that big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't, because there's a lot of great stuff coming. We are changing the world of professional wrestling in our own way. We're making big changes. We're making big moves. We got Supreme Pro Wrestling. We got Realm of Warriors Championship Wrestling. We were looking at others. We were talking to indie talent. We got a big interview with one of the biggest indie talents in California, and Mr. A.J. Kirsch. Yes, we're going to be sitting down and interviewing him at Lodi Comic Con. That's coming up September 28th, Lodi Comic Con. Make sure you're checking that out, following that. Check them out on Instagram. They're telling you who's going to appear at Lodi Comic Con. It looks like it's going to be a banger of a time. This show's going to be fly. It's going to be fun. Let's get started and let's get lottie-dottie. On the Big Time, I need to get out of here. I keep running my mouth, and I know it's time to say goodnight. So long, farewell. Till the next one.
This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.